Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Bill at Vac Lab. Hello Vac fans, what did I buy for $4.99? That is $4.99. A Bissell Powerforce Compact. I think this is the cheapest upright vacuum sold in the United States, I think. So let's take a look at this craptastic baby. I've seen these for sale in Walmart, usually around Christmas time, which is about now, for like $28.88 or some other kind of strange pricing that's there. Let's see if I can get a good view here. There we go. There's a label. A huge 7-amp motor. Absolutely overwhelming. If somebody can date that, let me know. I'll guess maybe 2013. I have really no idea how to date something like this. And we've got a hose here. I see we've got a spot for tools, but there weren't any. Let's see. Very interesting way to get a dust cup off. And yes, this is the way that I got it at the Goodwill. Just like this. Amazed it wasn't dirtier. Let's see. Unlock. Ooh, high quality HEPA media filter. You can even see the dust as it goes by with the flash on. And yeah, we're gonna have some cleaning to do here. There we go. How's that? You know, the inside actually doesn't look too bad. The flash is kind of making it look brighter than it is. It's not really that bright. We'll see what happens. There's the inside of that. And let's see. You know, I bet I can. Let's see if I can do this without stopping the camera. Oops. Let's try it again. There we go. It's wonderful, high quality plastic 10-inch wide from here to here brush roll. I don't think I should count that because there's nothing there. So this is like 8.5 inches or so. And you see it turns very easily. So that means the belt's broken. But I knew that when I got it. This hose appears okay, more or less. Wheels turn. You know, one thing that you can't pick up from this video is the smell. It has a wonderful, lovely odor. It's not as bad as it could be, but it's still there. And I've got some measuring tools here. Now, why on earth at Vac Lab get a machine like this? What's the point? I didn't really care what it cost. I was just wondering, I see these machines. Can they actually pick anything up? Do they work at all? Well, let's do a couple of pre-tests. And by the way, obviously I'm going to clean this thing up, restore it, get a belt for it, clean the filters, make it smell nice. And when I got it, I could immediately tell when I turned it on that there is a clog somewhere in this tube. And it actually has kind of started to come out. But let's put it back together, and as broken and busted up as it is, let's do a little airflow test and a little water lift test. This still being clogged, and we'll test it again with everything unclogged and cleaned up. Got the old Baird meter, and a 1 is 56 CFM. If you see the yellow disc, go up to a 1 and just touch the 1. And right now it's sitting at effectively a 0. And a 0 is 46 CFM. So halfway would be halfway in between, you know, sitting here at an idle and all the way up to a 1. So it'd be like 51 CFM. So let's see what it does. It's going to be a little hard for me to do this with one hand, also holding the camera, but let's find out. Alright, that's probably as good as I can get. And you know what? We got nothing. There's just nothing whatsoever. Okay, so we are very clogged, and if you have these machines or know these machines, then you can probably hear the motor spinning up a little too high. Alright, let's give it a try for some water lift here. See what goes on with that. There we go. Alright, I got it. Oh, that's better. There we go. Now I got it. Right. Really tricky there. The vacuum almost kind of fell over, but it's very light. So we saw about 50 inches of water lift on this thing. So no appreciable airflow whatsoever. This thing is just about completely clogged. If I were to guess, the airflow with this thing might be 20 or 30 CFM. I mean, insignificant, but totally clogged machine, and you still have a bunch of water lift. It's incredible. So I think we kind of demonstrated that on an earlier video. So let's see what this does when I take the known clogged hose off. And see what that does. Got this little handy dandy adapter here. I know this is going to be a very wiggly video. I'm not big on watching wiggly videos, but sometimes that's what you got to do. And I just got this thing home a couple hours ago, and I've been dying to try it out. All right, let's see if this thing goes at all. And, you know, the filters down here are still pretty clogged, too. All right, here goes nothing. It just kind of went, eh. That's about it. So maybe 40, maybe 45 CFM if we're lucky, something like that. I mean, I guess it did move off of the zero, so it might be like 45 CFM. So if it's 45 CFM here, what do you think it's going to be down there? Probably not a whole lot. So let me see. Can I do a water lift test? Now, this is really going to be weird. Should probably lay it down, but let's see if I can do this. All right, so we had about 50 inches or so with the completely clogged hose. Let's see if I can get this to my foot. All right, so I think we went a little higher than 50. A little hard for me to see exactly what that was. I'm going to guess it was 54 or something like that. But now the fun part comes. I'm going to be taking this thing apart and giving it a bath. A complete waste of time, but you know what? I haven't weighed this thing. My guess is it weighs, I don't know, maybe 10 pounds, maybe 9 pounds, something like that. But I'm going to have a little fun with what I think is that you can buy new, the cheapest upright vacuum sold in the United States, maybe in the world. If you guys know of a cheaper upright vacuum that isn't a stick vac, then let me know. I probably have seen it. Maybe I'll pick that up to go and test. And I'm going to have fun putting this on the airflow box and giving it a full battery of tests. I've got a bunch of screws out now. Of course, I have no idea how this comes apart. Probably a little fiddly. Maybe I even missed taking a screw out. Yeah, something's hooked in there somewhere. Coming out. Come on, dude. That's funny. It's almost like it was never meant to be serviced. Wow, how about that? Or maybe it was never meant to have the belts replaced. I can see the broken belt. Is this thing like glued on at the bottom or something? You know, it almost acts like there's a screw in there somewhere. Uh-huh. Alright, well, I can certainly see that the belt broke. There we go. Have to see what that takes. I think it says 1228 or something like that. So let me work on this. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And with a little coaxing, help with this, I was able to get this off, and it was just really stuck on. Amazing. So let's see. Obviously, you've already seen the belt. Brush roll. Let's get this out. There we go. Well, that ought to be fun to, I guess, rebuild or clean up. You know, but it actually spins real well. I mean, obviously there's going to be stuff stuck in there and it needs to be lubricated, but I have seen a lot worse than that. That just isn't that bad. And, oh, here we go. There's a lot of that material in there. Yeehaw. Let's see, what else can I manage to pick apart easily? And here's this little tube thingy. There we go. Feed tube. I think I'll have to take more screws out in order to effectively get that off. Unless this separates. Ooh, I think it does. Let's see if I can get that off without hurting anything. Oh, that's in there pretty well. And since this is of such high quality, I probably shouldn't wrench it around a whole lot. Okay, so I'm going to figure out what the next few pieces are to take off on this thing. Well, got the base plate off. That wasn't too bad. Now I got a nice little pile of screws. And look at this dude right here. Nice and rusty. Isn't that cool? So this is something I like to do. Clean that up. It should be shiny as all get out. I use some Zero steel wool to get the bulk rust off. And then I use some very fine 2000 grit. Got a little piece that I cut off right here. And let's see. I keep hitting that. I go grab this thing and I keep grabbing that. I'm not used to the power switch being right there. Let's see if we can make this. Let's see how close I can get that. See if I can make this a lot better than what it is. It's amazing how many of these I get that are rusted. I'm kind of shocked. I mean, it doesn't look like the machine sat in water, but somehow it was heavy humidity, I guess. So this is just taking the bulk of this off right here. Ooh, it's sticky too. Huh, there might be something underneath it. So it's a little on the rough side. Some of these are smooth and some of them aren't. And most of them I deal with actually are smooth. But let me try the sandpaper and see if I can now make it a lot shinier than what it was. And I might have to use, there I go again. I keep grabbing this thing. I might have to use maybe like say 400 grit and then work up to 2000. But I like seeing this turn all shiny. Ooh, look at the rust. Oh, look at that. It's coming off though. You know, 2000 might actually be a little too fine. But you know what? You see how it's starting to shine up? Yeah. Oh yeah, that's so much better. You know, I'm gonna get another piece of it. I suppose I should really have done this in two-step. Go like maybe like say 400 and then 1000 and 2000. Plus, this is actually getting a little hot. This is so thin and whatnot that when I put this against here, the backing heats up so much and it's a little hot there. So I'm going to cut another piece and we're going to keep going. Here we go again. hot. Looks like I'm going to have to do piece number 3. All right, third time's a charm. It is looking so much better. It's so nice to sit there and restore something that somebody has just neglected. I mean, that's almost perfect. Still got a little burnt look to it, but let's keep going, see what happens. Well, you can see, I hope, quite a difference. And if I keep going, it'll look better and better, but that's really something. And this, smooth as a baby's bottom, really something. That'll make a great surface for that belt to grab when I go and get another one. Right, so we got a lot more apart now. Got this little dude off. Filter taken apart. Ooh. That's going to be something. I wonder if you can get replacement one of these things. I'll have to see. Look at the dust that's coming off of that. Yeah, that's really something. Little Cyclone Filter. Obviously, you've already seen that. Here's the bottom where this fits in. The top. Here's another piece to the top. I guess that goes up there like this, up high. And here's part of the handle back. This actually, I couldn't believe it. It has a working cord release. I really didn't expect that. I mean, what a high quality feature. It's just incredible. But what I really wanted to show you is, here's the base of this motor. Now this is only a little 7-amp motor. I mean, look how tiny this thing is. I mean, look at the size of my hand. I mean, it's just incredible. So, this is the main motor intake right here. I wonder if I take this dude and put it up here, let's see, can I get a decent fit? Look at that. That fits pretty well. Yeah, look at that. All right, so let's see if I can get a good angle. What will the airflow be now? Obviously there's no clog. So let's see, Baird meter what? And if I'm remembering, I haven't looked at my chart, I think a 7 is like around 100 CFM. So let me make sure that you can see that in the camera. All right, let's see. Oh. Look at that. Woo. Well, obviously, I'm not making that good of a seal with it, but so 5, maybe 5.5, something like that. That's not bad. I have more hope for this thing. All right, let's see what it does for suction. Let's see if I can manage to push this button a little bit better than the last time. Let's see, I hope this isn't too glary. All right, let's see. I think it'll hit over 60. Let's find out. Don't want to stress the motor out too much. If you couldn't see that, that was 60 inches of water left. So, not bad. Not bad at all. Oh, and I did actually check, and I have a current gauge. Let me see what this is saying over there. So this 7-amp motor appears to be doing about 7.8 amps, but it's obviously completely unloaded. So it probably is going to be a little bit lower than that, which would put it right into the 7-amp range. So, hey, not bad. Got my little adapter out here again. It's this little Hoover adapter. Amazing. Fits all kinds of things. If the Baird meter hits a 6, that's going to be 93 CFM. So let's see what happens. And obviously this is unloaded. Okay, so not bad. Looks like the base motor is at least in the low 90s. And remember, this isn't some 10, 11, or 12 amp motor. This is a 7 amp motor. So that's just not bad. And of course, you've been listening to the sound of this motor as I have been, and the motor sounds fine. I might polish the commutator. We'll find out. All right, I got most of the machine broken down. Haven't taken the motor out yet. But this is the blob that I have pulled out of the brush roll and a few other things. Oh, and this filter here, well, I'm probably going to replace it, but I'm going to measure it before I replace it. That is, measure the airflow. And that right here is what came out of there. And obviously I don't think anybody bothered to even, kind of tap it out. But I've got, let's see if you can see this. Here you go. Clog. So I'm going to use my Electrolux and see. Now there's lots of ways to get the clog out, but why not do it the fun way? I want to see if I can kind of insert this in there. This is this end here is pretty clear. You can see pretty far down. It's in pretty good shape. But the clog is obviously right there. So I want to see if I can declog this thing. Well, that was fast. There you go. Done. It just sucked it right through. Oh, looks like there's a little piece of paper or something in there. All right, well, I can get that out. Well, that was quick. Hey, I love using this thing. I've had it in the family for 37 years, 1980, and it's going to die with me. I mean, this has been a great machine. All kinds of uses for it. Next thing I got to do is I'm going to put this thing in a tub with probably a bunch of Persil or something like that and soak it to get rid of the smell. And I think I might mix that with a little bit of baking soda to deodorize it before I suck it up into the vacuum, because it'll start to stink. Don't want stuff to stink in your vacuum? Mix it with a little baking soda if it's going to stay in your bag for a long period of time or you don't have a bagless machine. I wonder, can I use an Electrolux to vacuum off this filter here? Well, certainly not a perfect job, but I don't think anything more is coming out of it. Nope. How about that? It still might be somewhat clogged, but I'm not getting any more pieces out of it. Not bad. A little more of a direct approach. that's not bad. I wonder if you can really see that. Look at that. I mean, there's got to be some fine particles in there somewhere, but I'll have to do some airflow tests with this. Well, it's a lot better looking than when I first got it out of there. So I still probably want to replace it, but you know, I bet you it passes airflow fairly well at this point in time. Well, I got the filter somewhat doused with a little baking soda, just to kind of get rid of the stink. And I got the cord soaking in some really hot water with a bunch of Persil in it. I don't know what I'm going to do with the handle yet. It doesn't stink. It's somewhat metal and plastic, not a big deal. That's all the screws I took out. And there's my laundry basket that's going to go in the tub with a bunch of Persil in it and really hot water. Alright, we got the Persil going here. Really hot water. Hopefully this will de-stinkify this stuff. Look at that, dude. Better already. And the piece de resistance, the hose, now declogged. Whew, that's hot. Nice and hot. I wonder how clean it will come out. Will it look really nice, or will it still look terrible? Not bad. Spins pretty well, I think. Not too bad. I don't know how to take this one apart. Might be a press fit. Might not really want to come apart. Hey, look at that. Clean already. Woo. Well, I'm going to let this soak for a little bit. Try to get the smell out as much as I can, because it's no fun using a vacuum that still smells like dog and mold and whatever else. But this is typically what I do. Well, I've gone and cleaned all the parts with Persil. Now I'm draining the tub. And the coolest thing about having a lot of Persil in the tub is, after the water drains, there's no ring around the tub. Absolutely nothing. Takes care of any grease, grime, whatever it is, and goes right down the drain. So, let's take a look. And all this stuff's still wet. But that looks a bit different, doesn't it? It also smells really nice. And let's take a look at this. Here's the front of the power nozzle. Give that thing a little shine. Not too bad. And the hose. Look at that hose. That is almost perfectly clean again. Really something. Here's a rug plate. Obviously it's still all wet. Everything works real well. Here's the inner part of a Cyclone. Some little plastic mesh. Here's the bin. So hey, look at that. A full line. This little centerpiece right in here kind of reminds me a little bit of like what a DC-65 does. Let's see. Of course, this one's a lot cheaper. Here's top part of the Cyclone. Powerforce Compact. Huge, powerful 7-amp motor. Bottom part of that. Little bits and pieces. And I don't know if I can show you this with one hand. But watch this. Let's see if I can get that where it doesn't fall down. This thing spins very easily now. Look at that. Not bad. All right, so I've got to dry all these things, and all this will resume tomorrow. Well, we got everything completely bathed, all dried. I think everything looks quite a bit better. Look at that. That's pretty clear. That isn't half bad at all. And the best thing is, everything smells nice. Yep, it's wonderful. This thing spins wonderfully well. Everything looks good. And I even wanted to see what kind of motor's in this thing. So let's see what this is here. It's not like I'm going to be able to pronounce all of it. See if I get this close enough. There we go. So what's in the cheapest vacuum sold in the USA? I think. See, it says 8 amp motor, Class A, 27,000 RPM. I don't know if I buy that. That might be unloaded. Loaded, I don't know if it's going 27,000, but I haven't measured it yet. But yeah, it looks like I was right. I estimated the machine was 2013, and it says April 20th of 2013. So this machine's a good 4.5 years old, at least from the manufacture date. I don't know when they actually sold it, though. And you can see it's, I have no idea how to pronounce that, Jiangsu Media Chunhua, something like that. I'll give up on pronouncing that. But that's it. So we're all cleaned up, and now here starts the reassembly. The only thing that I am actually missing is a belt. So I went looking for a belt, and it turns out that you need a special Powerforce compact belt, not just the standard Powerforce belt. So I've got to keep looking, see if I can find one here local. And she's all put back together. The Bissell Powerforce compact. I think the cheapest vacuum sold in the US. I was just looking at Walmart today, and it was like $45. So they might have some kind of incredible sale. I don't know, maybe in the next couple of weeks or something. But you take this, slide it over, and then it creates a gap now. You can pull this out. Isn't that something? Cleaned up rather nice. You want to take the filter out. There you go. That looks nice. The inside of this looks pretty nice. The outside, not so nice. It's not bad. I need to get another one of these things. Inside of the dust cup. And I think the dust cup here just kind of comes right off. So, it is functional. And then you slide this thing. Let's see, I'm going to have to put my foot on it. Hold it down. There you go, see that? See how the gap there? You slide this thing back up, just like that. And then it just wonderfully and easily and precisely makes a fantastic high-end seal. Isn't that something? So we're all clean, clog-free. Still missing my 2 little accessory tools here. Here we go. The cord that was gooey and smelled moldy has a wonderful, just kind of like washed Persil smell. And it all works except for a belt. I am still looking for a belt. So I'll show you the underneath. And there you go. So there's everything about as clean as you can possibly get. And this tube is wonderfully clean now too. And everything smells fantastic. So let's do, and I'm going to do a full battery of tests on this thing. But let's see if we can figure out what our airflow has changed to. Remember, I tested here. I don't think we really got a whole lot going on. So I'm going to go plug this in and see if we had any kind of improvements. Okay, see what happens. Well, with the dirty old filter in there, what still is kind of messing that filter up, looks like we got about a 1, which is, I think, 56 CFM. I think that's an improvement. So I'm going to take the filter out just to see how clogged it really still is after all these years. I think it's the original one. I'm just going to take the whole thing completely out. See if it really makes that much difference. Moment of truth. There we go. Got our fantastic seal again here. You know, high precision plastic. All right, here we go again. All right, so we went from slightly above a 1 to a 2, and that's about 6 CFM. So this guy right here, and that's both pieces, both. I don't think this is significantly, this little foam piece right here is reducing airflow a whole lot. But if I can peel that back, so you get a close look. There, see all that dirt in there? I think that's probably a few CFM loss in there. I think that's definitely causing that. But it's not as bad as what you think. This was absolutely terrible, and of course it smelled awful, and the baking soda and whatnot helped. So I've got to get another one of these, and I've got to get a belt that I think goes in. See, which side does it go on? Goes on. Goes here. Goes on this side. So looks like it basically survived. And I started looking for the belt, and it's a little difficult to find. So I'm going to keep going. Oh, and by the way, I checked the water lift as well, and the water lift right up here was doing about 56 inches. So we got about 56 inches of suction, and I don't think that's bad for like a $45 machine. And I also checked the current draw. I'll turn that back on here. We'll take a look at it. Fully hooked up. Let's take a look and see what the current draw of this thing is. Again, the brush roll is not spinning because I don't have a belt. Okay, so about 7 amps. Now I imagine that this thing is probably going to have increased amperage when I go and put a belt on and it makes the brush roll spin, and then you end up putting it on the medium pile carpet. But for right now, that's not too bad. Oh, you know what? I wonder, if I take this hose off here, if you were to do some above floor cleaning, would you actually get any appreciable airflow? Now again, when this thing is sitting on a 0, when it basically just moves slightly off a 0, that's 46 CFM. So I don't know what we're going to get. So we may not actually see it move. So it might be something like, say, in the mid to low 40s. Let's give it a try. Yep. Alright. I saw it move just the tiniest bit. So yeah, right here we're probably at maybe 46 or 47 CFM. So what that means is, if we do the math, if I stick this in here, this comes all the way up there, and put this in here, normally from here down to here, for typical uprights, you're going to lose maybe 10, maybe 15 CFM. Really terrible ones, you can lose like, say, maybe 20 CFM. So if we're at, like, say, I'll just round it, say 45, we might be at, 30 or 35 CFM depending. But I've got an airflow box and we can actually check that. Alright, I dug the airflow box out and my handy dandy anemometer. So, got to use some microfibers here to block off the front and the sides because the nozzle's actually pretty narrow. So let's see what kind of airflow reading we get. Now again, there's no belt. The brush roll is installed but not spinning. And the dirty filter in here is in there, so that's going to be subtracting a little bit of CFM. Not a whole lot, but some. Okay, I think that's about it. We got 1476 feet per minute. I'll go over to the computer. Oh, I can't wait to see what the flash is going to do on the computer. Oh, that's good, huh? Okay, so 1476 times 0.026099 conversion, and we're at 38.5 CFM with a nice sun right there. Ooh, the flash. Okay, so 38 CFM. Usually, when you go and put a belt on there, it's going to slow it down a couple of CFM, but I've got a dirty filter in there, so it'll probably boost it up a few CFM. So we're probably talking about maybe a 38 or a 39 CFM machine, which is obviously low, but it's not the lowest that I've measured. All right, here we have our Bissell Powerforce. I don't think this thing is meant for bare floor pickup, but why not? We'll try it. I've got some oats and some flour. The brush roll isn't spinning because I don't have a belt, and let's see what happens. I can't imagine it's going to be much, but you know, hey, 38, 39 CFM beats me. So it's got a squeegee the back of the power nozzle, so maybe that'll do something, but I have no idea. And like I said, I'm not so sure this was meant for bare floors. You can't turn the brush roll off, and it's going to make some weird scraping noises, although I have not tried this test in advance. I have no idea what it's going to do. You know, it shouldn't spit particles though, but maybe it just won't pick them up. So let's see what happens. Under 40 CFM at the nozzle. We just measured it on the airflow box. And a somewhat dirty filter in there. I'm losing a little CFM. Well, look at that. Look at that. There you go. That's pretty clean. That's amazing. How about that? It does work. So, I don't know. Maybe I could recommend it for bare floors, maybe not. Look at this. See, is there anything in there? No? I mean, there might be something, but yeah, that's pretty clean. All right, well, you've seen it here live. I don't believe it either, but it did it. Pretty amazing. Can't wait to get a belt now and actually do a whole house cleaning with this thing. Yep, I'll do that as soon as I can find a belt. Thanks for watching.